Entering the ranks of the world's 5 wealthiest people usually requires a lifetime of aggressive strategy, high-stakes competition, and an exceptional tolerance for risk. For one man, that same level of fortune was within reach through a single, passive decision, simply keeping his name on a partnership agreement. He held a mathematical ticket to a $100 billion legacy, yet he traded it away for about the cost of a mid-range television. His story suggests that the most devastating financial losses aren't always caused by bad bets. Sometimes they are caused by walking away from the table too early. In 1976, the foundation of a tech empire was being laid in a California garage. Most people recognize the first part of the team, the visionary Steve Jobs, and the second, the engineer who built the early hardware, Steve Wozniak. They were producing prototypes that looked less like computers and more like science experiments, with exposed chips mounted on raw wood. But there was a third founder in that barrage. Ronald Wayne provided the administrative experience the two Steves lacked, and in return, he was granted a 10% stake in the newly formed Apple Computer Company. Today, that 10% represents one of the largest concentrations of private wealth on Earth, yet Ronald Wayne owns none of it. While Jobs and Wozniak were in their early 20s with very little to lose, Wayne was in his 40s and already understood the consequences of a business failing. He was still carrying personal debt from a previous engineering venture that had collapsed years earlier. In the 1970s, partnerships carried unlimited liability. If the company went into debt, a founder's personal assets, home, car, life savings, could be seized. Because his partners had no assets, Wayne realized he'd be the sole target, dragging him back into bankruptcy. From his perspective in 1976, removing his name from the contract was a rational act of self-preservation. Just 12 days after Apple was officially founded, Wayne decided the risk was too great to ignore. He signed a document to formally relinquish his 10% share in exchange for a payout of $800. The trade provided immediate relief. He was no longer legally responsible for the company's debts, and he walked away with cash in hand. Wayne had successfully secured his peace of mind, unaware that he had just finalized the most expensive exit in corporate history. Measuring the scale of that decision requires looking at the trajectory of the shares he left behind. On this timeline, Wayne's $800 payout remains a stagnant gray line. The blue line, representing his 10% stake, slowly pulls away. By the 2020s, it reaches over $120 billion, completely dwarfing the original payout. Had he retained that stake, Ronald Wayne would currently be the 5th richest human being on the planet. This gap illustrates the devastating power of opportunity cost, the price of choosing immediate safety over the compounding value of a generational asset. Every choice involves a trade-off, and the results of those trades often take decades to fully reveal themselves. Wayne allowed the immediate fear of a small loss to dictate a decision that would eventually cost him a fortune. The most significant errors are often the result of financial anxiety, convincing us to take the safest possible path. In the end, playing it safe proved to be the most expensive gamble of all.